The Shining is one of the most famous horror films of all time, not just for its memorable shots, scenes and lines, but because it subverts the conventions of the genre and presents us with a horror that is chillingly close to home. The most terrifying scenes in Kubrick's adaptation are not the encounters with the ghosts and ghouls of the Overlook Hotel, but the scenes that depict the brutal nature of the main characters when they are pushed to their limits. In the world of The Shining, evil resides in the most unremarkable of people, such as the former teacher, now caretaker, Jack Torrance. A recovering alcoholic struggling with his own inadequacy as a writer and a father, he gradually falls victim to the malevolent supernatural forces that lurk in the hotel. As the facade of his civility is worn down, his capacity for violence grows, and the echo chamber of horrors that is the Overlook Hotel mutates this family man into a twisted facsimile of his core self. This all comes to fruition in one of the movie's most famous scenes.
Here's Johnny!
No, not that one, but the one that holds a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most retakes on a single scene, with a whopping 127 takes.
Jack?
At this point in the film, Wendy already has serious doubts about her husband's sanity. Her worst fears, and the audience's, are confirmed when she reads Jack's manuscript and is horrified to discover pages and pages of the same repeated phrase. At this pivotal turning point, Kubrick chooses to cut from the horror-stricken face of Wendy to a wall covered in old black and white photographs. Throughout the film, the history of the hotel becomes an increasingly sinister presence in the narrative, and this shot identifies that history and the character of the hotel as a central factor in Jack's madness. As the camera dollies left into the open doorway, Jack emerges from the shadows as if from the old photographs themselves.
How do you like it?
He has become the demonic figure of Delbert Grady, and Wendy has become Grady's wife. They are doubles, another theme that is presented throughout the film through the motif of mirrors. And of course, the twin girls.
Come and play with us, Stanley.
As the confrontation continues, the camera switches us uncomfortably between the points of view of the characters. Kubrick cuts between a shot tracking backwards from Jack as he comes towards us, and a shot tracking forwards towards Wendy. As viewers, we are both the victim, vulnerably backing away, and the abuser eagerly pursuing, the predator and the prey. Finally, we cut to Danny's horrified face. It is clear that he is overhearing the confrontation by way of Shining. Shots of the recurring image of the elevator pouring blood down a corridor add to the surreal horror, and to the feeling that all our characters' worst fears are coming to fruition as the hotel's influence engulfs them all. The blood is one of the main motifs of the movie, representing the man-made horrors that have occurred in the hotel and the rising surge of Jack's brutal nature. As we cut back to Jack, it is now impossible not to notice the colour of his jacket, maroon, soaked through with that very blood. After a full 3 minutes of tense back and forth subjective shots between Jack and Wendy, Jack steps into the foreground of his shot, invading the space between them. Now, over-the-shoulder shots frame the action as the shrill music rises, positioning Jack not only as the antagonist of the film, but the embodiment of human evil and menace that, until this point, has been a spectral presence in the hotel. What is truly haunting and has kept this film relevant for 40 years is that, unlike the antagonists of many other horrors, Jack is not possessed or controlled by the supernatural elements of the story. They have driven him to this state of depraved violence, but it was always there, under the surface. In the Overlook Hotel, evil doesn't just reside in Jack, it's everywhere. The hotel becomes a physical embodiment of human tyranny, absorbing and transmuting the sins of its residents and corrupting them with the stains of their collective history. In the end, we see that it is not the haunted houses that we should be afraid of, but the hidden horrors that lurk deep within ourselves.